In 2008, Elon Musk had just 3 days left. 3 days before Tesla went bankrupt. 3 days before SpaceX shut down forever. He was out of money, out of time, and almost out of hope. But his story didn't start at the edge of failure. It started with a lonely kid in South Africa. He didn't grow up in a perfect home. His parents split, and the house stopped feeling like a home. Most days he was alone, too quiet for his age, lost in his own world. School wasn't any better. The other kids didn't just tease him, they hunted him. One beating was so brutal, he blacked out on the pavement. But while the world pushed him down, he found one place that never did: a glowing computer screen. He escaped into science fiction stories, video games, and strange ideas about the future. And at 12 years old, he taught himself how to code. His first project was a tiny space game called Blastar. He sold it for $500, pocket money to anyone else, but a fortune to a kid with nothing. And deep inside, a dream started forming. A dream about America, a place no one around him believed he'd ever reach. But that didn't matter, because every underdog story starts at the bottom.
At 17, he made a decision most people would never dare to make. He walked away from South Africa to avoid being forced into a military system he didn't believe in. He arrived in Canada with $2,000, a backpack, and almost no plan, except one: find a way out. He shoveled snow in freezing mornings. He carried trash bags until his hands burned. He even worked inside a boiler room so toxic no one else wanted the job. But every night, after the shifts ended, he buried himself in books, math, physics, engineering, anything that could pull him closer to the future he imagined. And eventually, it worked. He earned his way into the University of Pennsylvania, a place far from the life he ran from, but dangerously close to the life he wanted. For the first time, people around him noticed it. His mind was built differently.
When he arrived in Silicon Valley, he didn't have an apartment, so he slept on the floor of a tiny office he shared with his brother. Every morning, they'd roll up their sleeping bags and turn the same floor into their workspace. They coded all day. They coded all night, building a small online directory for newspapers at a time when almost no one believed the internet mattered. But investors started paying attention. That tiny project grew fast, faster than anyone expected, and soon Compaq came knocking. The deal? $307 million. His share? $22 million. For most people, that would have been the finish line, but for him, this was just the beginning. After selling his first company, he didn't slow down. He launched a new online banking startup, bold, fast, years ahead of everyone else. But when another startup with similar ambitions appeared, the two companies merged, and that merger created what we now know as PayPal. The company exploded in growth. Millions of users, money moving across the internet for the first time. But success didn't protect him. While he was on a flight across the country, the board voted to replace him as CEO. He landed and discovered he had been removed from his own company. He built it, he led it, but they pushed him out. And yet, when PayPal was sold to eBay, his payout came to $180 million. Most people would disappear after a betrayal like that. But he didn't slow down. He decided to gamble everything he had on two insane dreams. Success looked unstoppable until everything started falling apart at once. SpaceX, 3 failures in a row. The first Falcon 1 launch rose into the sky and then burst apart. The second attempt made it higher, but ended in flames again. The third launch, months of work, millions of dollars, and the last of his hope, also exploded. 3 rockets, 3 failures, 3 near-fatal blows. And every time he had to walk back into the same room and tell his team to keep going. Tesla, everything goes wrong at the same time. While the rockets were falling out of the sky, Tesla was collapsing on the ground. Battery fires, money running out, investors laughing at the idea of electric cars, factories slowing down, workers exhausted, production frozen. It wasn't one disaster, it was 2 happening in parallel. A double heartbreak, a double collapse. The personal cost. In the middle of all this, his marriage fell apart. He started sleeping under his desk, too tired to go home. He told his team, "I will die in these companies if that's what it takes." The edge of total failure. By late 2008, he had enough money for one final rocket launch and enough cash for Tesla to survive maybe a few weeks. Everything he had built, everything he believed in, came down to one last chance. By the end of 2008, everything came down to one last shot. He had money for just one more rocket launch, one attempt left after 3 brutal failures. If this final Falcon 1 didn't reach orbit, it was over. The launch that decided everything. The countdown began. The rocket lifted off, rising higher than any attempt before. And then, against all the odds, Falcon 1 reached orbit. It wasn't just a launch, it was survival. The call that saved SpaceX. Days later, NASA made the decision that changed everything. They awarded him a critical contract, enough to keep the company alive. SpaceX lived. The miracle that saved Tesla. At the same time, Tesla was hours away from running out of cash. Then, like a final spark, last-minute investors stepped in. Tesla lived too. The turning point. In the span of a few days, both companies escaped death. The darkest year of his life ended with the biggest comeback of his career, and the world had no idea what was coming next. After surviving 2008, the world assumed he'd slow down, but instead, everything accelerated. The car that changed everything, Model S. Tesla launched the Model S, a car so fast, so safe, so ahead of its time, it shocked the entire auto industry. Reviewers called it the future. Buyers lined up. Tesla wasn't just alive anymore, Tesla was winning. The rocket that came back home, Falcon 9. Then came Falcon 9, a rocket that didn't just reach space, it came back and landed on its feet. Something no one thought was possible until it happened. And suddenly, launching rockets became cheaper, faster, and repeatable. Space changed forever. The network in the sky, Starlink. Next, he began building the largest satellite network in history. Thousands of satellites orbiting Earth, connecting remote towns, islands, deserts, people who never had internet before. Starlink turned into a global force. X, Twitter, and XAI, his new frontiers. He bought a social platform and rebuilt it into X. He launched XAI to chase the next frontier of intelligence. Every year, he kept jumping into bigger, stranger, riskier arenas. How he became the richest man on Earth. People think he became the world's richest man because of salary, but that's wrong. He didn't take a salary at all. He became wealthy because he owned massive shares in the companies he built. His wealth grew only when the companies succeeded. The real message: he didn't get rich by getting paid more. He got rich by betting on his own companies and holding on when everyone else let go.